Hey everyone, welcome back. So today, let's talk about something we literally use all the time, electricity. But we're going to get specific. What actually happens inside a circuit when you start messing with the parts? You know that feeling, right? You need a flashlight. You find one, click it on, and it's just this sad, dim light. Super frustrating. Well, believe it or not, that exact problem is our doorway into some really cool ideas about how electricity works. So let's treat this like a real puzzle. We're going to take that dim flashlight problem and use it to understand what happens when we add or remove stuff from a circuit. Okay, so what would you do? Your first instinct is probably to add more batteries, right? To give it more juice. But what if, and this is a bit of a weird idea, what if you added another lamp to the circuit? Which approach actually works? Let's dig in. All right, experiment number 1. Let's see what happens when we just add more power. So let's be scientific about this. Imagine we build a super simple circuit. Just one power source, we'll call it a cell, and one little lamp. We see how bright it is. Then we pop in a second cell, and we're going to observe what changes. Now, just a quick bit of terminology so we're all on the same page. This setup is called a series circuit. The key thing to remember is that it's like a one-way, single-lane street. The electricity, the current, has to flow through every single component, one after the other. There are no detours. And there we have it. As soon as we add that second cell, the lamp gets way brighter. What that tells us is that the electric current, the flow of energy, has gone up. More power in, more light out. Kind of intuitive, right? But hold on. Why did that happen? I mean, what is that second battery actually doing to all those tiny electrons flowing through the wire? Let's park that thought for just a moment. Okay, on to experiment number 2. This is where things get interesting. This time, we're not adding more power. Instead, we're going to add another lamp. So we're adding more work for the circuit to do, not more energy. So the process is pretty much the same. We start with our simple one-cell, one-lamp circuit, but now we're going to stick a second lamp in there, right in the same line. So, what do you think is going to happen? Brighter? Dimmer? Take a guess. And this might not be what you expected. Both lamps are now dimmer. In fact, they're dimmer than the original single lamp was by itself. By adding another lamp, we've actually slowed down the whole flow of electricity. The current has decreased. Okay, let's just pause and think about this. We did almost the same thing twice. We added a component to the circuit, but we got completely opposite results. One time, things got brighter. The next, they got dimmer. So what is going on here? Let's unpack it. This is the whole story, right here. On one side, when we add more cells, we're basically upgrading the engine. We're increasing the electrical push that gets the electrons moving. They speed up. But on the other side, when we add more lamps, we're adding obstacles to the road. This is called resistance, and it literally slows those electrons down. So the cells, the batteries, they're the heart of the operation. They provide the push, the energy that forces the electrons to move through the circuit. It's that simple. More cells, you get a stronger push. And the lamps? Well, that's their whole purpose. They take that moving energy and turn it into something useful, like light and heat. But that process takes effort. They actually resist the flow of electricity, and that resistance acts like a brake, slowing everything down across the whole circuit. So, from these two simple experiments, we can actually pull out some golden rules that apply to pretty much any series circuit you'll ever see. Okay, so what are the big takeaways? Rule number 1. In a series circuit, the speed of the electricity, the current, is the exact same at every single point. It's like water in a pipe, it's all moving at the same speed. This means if you measure it with a device called an ammeter, you'll get the same number here, here, or here. And maybe the weirdest part, you can swap the order of the lamps and the batteries, and it makes no difference to the current. The total flow stays the same. And this image shows that perfectly. Look, the little meter is in a different place in each picture, but the reading is identical. It doesn't matter where you check. In a series circuit, the current is the same everywhere. It's a constant. So, if there's one thing to remember, it's this. Adding or removing anything will change the current. But how it changes all comes down to what you're changing. Are you adding more push, or are you adding more resistance? And that leaves us with a really fun little puzzle to think about. We've established that if you swap the lamps around, the current doesn't change. But something else must, right? So what is it? What else is affected? That's a great question for another time. Thanks for digging into this with me today.